Alright, peace. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, give honor and praise to the God of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Give double honors to 7130 South Chicago that taught me this truth. And give double honors to all the brothers and sisters that the Creator has awoken in these last days. With that being said, peace and shalom. Alright, brothers and sisters, I want to go into a lesson today. And what I want to be talking about is the Hoffa show, where Hoffa was interviewing, an icon that's in the drug community, and this gentleman is celebrated as one of the greatest drug dealers that was in the hood slanging dope, right? And he goes by the name of none other than Rick Ross. And for a long time, because I looked at the documentaries just as well, and his life story, for a long time, he was under the radar from the police, and a lot of people didn't know who he was, is because he wasn't a very flashy person, and he blended in real well with the inhabitants in the community. And what I mean by that is that he really didn't wear a lot of designer clothes when he was on the streets selling drugs. He had a scraggly beard, this, that, and the third. So a lot of times when he was out there, the police probably looked at him as a bum, and he was, a lot of times they go after the people that was flashy, that had gold chains, nice clothes, nice cars, and he had those things, but when he was out and about on the streets, he didn't present himself that way, so it was kind of hard to catch him, right? But, one of the guys that pretty much told on this brother was an informant that was working with the government, and I think that he was a general or somebody in the army, and he was using the money that Rick was paying him to fund his war over there in what I think it was South America, because I think Rick Ross is kind of attached to the Contra Wars that was going on with Ronald Reagan and them, right? But what's so interesting about this is that Hoffa brought him on his show to talk about, how he used to elude the police and all this type of stuff. And to the young generation that look at this man's show, see, a lot of these guys, they would do a disclaimer and they'll say, well, for a disclaimer, we're not glorifying what it is that we're talking about, but in actuality, you are. It's because these individuals are considered the Robin Hoods, or the heroes of the community. They sold drugs. They got all this money. They have nice clothes and things of this nature. They give a lot of us young guys that's in the community that don't have both parents at home or struggling and things of this nature, they give us some type of sense of hope, is because we'll watch these guys, because a lot of times they looked at just like us in the community. They had holes in their shoes, they wore the same pair of pants every day. They didn't have food in the house. So a lot of times when we see these guys come out of nowhere and they start being rich and they start having all this money, these are the idols that we worship or that we look up to. We inspire to be just like these people. But these individuals, they are poisoning the community. And see, the U.S. government was on record telling the black community that they was funneling all of these drugs in the community to help them win the wars that was going over there in South America. And not just that, they was putting drugs in the community to destroy the so-called black man. And see, this is why I always say that a lot of these folks, they always alluding the situation of a rat being a person that's telling. But we have to say that the person that's not telling is a rat too. It's because a rat is a bottom feeder. And this is what a lot of times our people can be reduced to as bottom feeders, is because we don't have a lot of things. Like Rick Ross said, he aspired to be a tennis player. He didn't want to sell drugs. He wanted to be a tennis player. But because he couldn't read, see, Rick Ross could not read. He learned how to read in prison. But he knew how to count that money though, see. But he was illiterate. And here it is, an illiterate man was making millions of dollars annually a year. In the interview with Hoffa, he said that he used to collect $240,000 a day in selling drugs. Now, most young guys that look at this show, they can't process that. And this is why a lot of times when you interview these people, it's very dangerous when a young person listen to him. It's because, like I say, a lot of the young guys that's poor, a lot of times they don't look up to their parents. They look up to the individuals that's on the street corners, getting it by any means necessary. And see, when you have a person like Rick Ross, which was a government informant, and what I mean by that is that he may have not sat down with the government and said, okay, I'm going to bring all these drugs in and purposely destroy the black community. But he's an informant just as well, as because he brought in a large quantity of drugs. The man said he used to have like 30 or 40, 100 some kilos of drugs. So you gotta imagine Hoffa and them sitting up there laughing and all that type of stuff. That's nothing to glorify, brothers and sisters, because he's bringing in 200, 300,000 of kilos of drugs in the community. And what do you think that's going to do to the community? He's one of the reasons why the community is destroyed, brothers and sisters. It's because of his greed for money, his appetite for money. He took a conscious decision to destroy his own people, whether he really understands that or not. this man is celebrated as one of the greatest drug dealers, but he and a lot of other people are responsible for the setback of a generation of people. This is why these young guys are running around here wild. See, it's because he too is a person that took the black man out of the household, brothers and sisters. See? And see, these are the modern day witches and warlocks that's in our community doing what? Committing mischief and destruction in the neighborhood. Let's look at this. This is Exodus 22:18. It says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. See, and really Rick Ross is really a sorcerer. See, back in the day, he will be considered a sorcerer. It's because, or a witch. It's because, you know, we see the stories. We see the cartoons and the movies, how the witch be making a potion and stuff like that to try to put on the people. And this is what he was doing. So if he was making $200,000 a day and selling drugs, $1 million, $2 million, $4 million a year annually selling drugs, look how many people he devastated with those drugs. It's because the funneling of drugs in the black community was a war on the black man. This is why our fathers, this is one of the reasons why our fathers is removed from the household. It's because they were chasing a high, see? And I know this because I lost my father to substance abuse. And I remember in certain other interviews that he told the story how he sold drugs to his own family members. This is the mentality of our people, brothers and sisters. See, we can't always talk about the white man. We have to start looking at ourselves in the mirror. Mav Hoffa and them is bringing these people on their shows to glorify the downfall and the destruction of the 80s and the 70s and things of this nature of our generation of people, brothers and sisters. And we should be scrutinizing these people for this. And who is the one that's behind the scenes allowing this man? Because, see, he got almost 1 million and something subscribers. Who is the oil that's fueling the machine? It's the so-called white man, see? And it's a lot of these, you got black sponsors, you got a lot of these people that fund money behind this brother so that he can put stories out here like this. And like I say, a grown person listen to these stories and they may be intriguing, right? But a lot of times we can process this stuff. We get through listening to Rick Ross and his tales and stuff like that. We're not going to go out there and start selling drugs to our people because we know the effects that drugs do to a generation or a person, right? But it's the young people that sit down and listen to this guy that don't have nothing. And this is nothing but modern day sorcery and witchcraft. Is because, see, the young guys will listen to him and then they're inspired to do the same thing as him. What is one of the things that Rick Ross is doing today? Now he's selling drugs legally, see? And a lot of the cocaine and marijuana and stuff like that, it probably could be used for good purposes and things of this nature, but you would take it from its natural state and bring it into what? An unnatural state that is not inducive for the community. So he hasn't even learned his lesson. Now he's into what you would call the weed business. So now he's selling drugs legally. So you got a lot of our people, brothers and sisters. They have taken on the mark of the beast. And the mark of the beast is the philosophy and teaching of the Gentile world power system, brothers and sisters. Why is Mav Hoffa putting his brother on television to tell his story, right? And he does the same thing as Vlad TV. He will take certain sound bites or certain snippets and put it out 5, 10, 15 minutes. Then next thing you know, he put a 2-hour show out, right? But the damage is done. It's because a lot of times when people are listening to this man's story, they can't process what's going on. So a lot of times people, they want to, these young kids, they want to inspire to be just like this man. They want to make $240,000 a day in selling drugs. They want to do that. And what is happening? We're still killing our generations of babies. This is why the kids are out here shooting each other. You got 6-year-old kids, 50 states, they getting shot with semi-automatics because of what these guys was doing back in the 80s, brothers and sisters. Let's look at another scripture, right? Let's look at 2 Peter, the 2nd chapter, 18 through 19. Let's see what 2 Peter got to say. See, we got to start scrutinizing these guys for putting a lot of this nonsense on television, and all it's doing is destroying our youth. Let's look at this. 1 second, let me find it. 2 Peter 2, 18 through 19, right? Let me see if I can find it. All right, here we go. It says, the book of 2 Peter, the 2nd chapter, I'm going to start at the 19th verse. It says, why they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servant of corruption. And it says, for of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage. See, a lot of these guys, see, they gonna say, God bless, I thank God for my podcast or the money that I'm making. But look at the influence, look at the negative influence that you making on the community. 20th verse, 18th verse. It says, for when they speak great swelling words of vanity. That's why I wanted to get to 18 and 19. I'm going to start at 18. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity. Look at this man sitting back glorifying on how he used to steal cars and he made all this money, right? How he used to elude the police. How he made $1 million off of selling drugs. But look at the black community. What was your contribution to the black community? Death and destruction, brothers and sisters. If I sold drugs and I got the mindset that I have today, I wouldn't even talk about that type of stuff unless I'm going to talk about it in a positive sense. There's nothing positive about laughing and joking about how much money that you made off of selling something that's destroying your own people. 18 verse 2nd chapter, 1 Peter. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, look at Math Hoffa. See how he was swindling his co-hosts, didn't want to pay them no money. Now he's sitting around here talking crazy about these people. His whole show is about vanity, brother. It's nothing nutritionist about his. I can't get no type of nutrition from his show. It says they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness, those that were clean escape from them who live in error. See, these brothers, they live in error, man. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are servants of corruption. He shouldn't be selling no type of drugs nowhere for all the hurt and the harm that he has done to the community. It says, for of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought into bondage. See, a lot of these guys are still in bondage of the stupidity that we was doing back in the day. They have nothing of substance to teach to our people other than death and destruction, brothers and sisters. See? They don't have nothing but garbage to give our people. This is why our people is in the state of emergency, man. No wonder why we got kids killing each other at an alarming rate. 1 John 2:8-11. It says, again, a new commandment I write unto you, which thing is true in him and in you, because the darkness is past and the true light now shineth. And what is the true light? The true light is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. See? And a lot of you brothers, you're going to be destroyed. That's what's going to happen, because, see, all of this stuff is a distraction. While we sitting up here glorifying Rick Ross and Al Poe and all the, what's this, Guy Fisher, all these Negroes, America is at war with all the countries. The 9th verse, he that saith, it says, he that saith he is in the light and hateth his brother. This to all you brothers that sit around here talking about God bless and all this, we got to come together. You hate your brother. You hate your brother. You don't want to bring nobody up no type of positive substance on your show. You keep bringing all these rinky-dink Negroes that done tore up the neighborhood and conjuring up that same spirit that done destroyed our community. Our communities is destroyed even to this day. He that saith he is in the light and hateth his brother is in darkness. See, if you sell drugs to your community, you hate your brother. And even if you legalize selling weed, you still hate your brother. You don't even know what they putting in that stuff. It says, he that saith, 10th verse, he that loveth his brother abideth in the light. See, if you love your brother, you ain't gonna sit on no show First of all, I don't even want to talk about that. I want to talk about how I destroyed generations of people making money in error. That's what I want to talk about. How I took the money out of the people's households, how I broke up families. That's what a true man, a man is going to honor up what he did. See? I destroyed generations of people. I'm the reason why the kids is crazy today. I'm one of the reasons. And when I got of age, I knew what I was doing. But because of the love of money, I always would tell myself in the back of the mind, if they don't get it from me, they gonna get it from somebody else. He that loveth his brother abideth in the light, and there is none occasion of stumbling in him. But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes. See, if you sitting around here still glorifying drug dealing, pimping, hoeing, and all this type of stuff, you don't love your brothers and sisters. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, peace, shalom.